If you don't have a Navy Federal pledge loan, you're gonna want one after this video. What's up, winners? My name is Nam. If you're new here, welcome. Here we talk all things personal finance and credit. Start now by subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. You might have seen this topic on YouTube before if you're interested in building credit, and everybody tells you that you should get a pledge loan. You may be thinking to yourself, maybe I'll get a pledge loan in the near future, but I really don't think that most people fully understand what a pledge loan is and how it can have a positive effect on your credit score. In some cases, you can essentially create your credit profile overnight. So in this video, I'll give you a full breakdown of what a pledge loan is so you can fully understand it and use it to its maximum potential. We're gonna talk about strategy, what it looks like, and all the legal details that come with Navy Fed. I think for most people out there, if they have heard of a Navy Federal pledge loan before, they just think it as a credit builder account. But it's way more than that. I'm gonna show you why it does not matter if you have good or bad credit. This is even more powerful if you have good credit, because this can fan your credit profile even more. So if you are an individual who are seeking high credit funding or looking to leverage credit, you can literally manufacture a loan which shows on your credit report that shows that you have tens of thousands or even $100,000 loan. Now, if lenders see that you had loans up to 50K or even 100K, they're gonna be more likely to offer you higher lines of credit, larger loans, and better financing options. So with that said, this will help you across all financial institutions, but especially if you are a Navy Federal member, you're gonna get way more brownie points. Because with this type of strategy that we'll be sharing with you, there's a huge difference between having a great credit score and having a great credit profile. Yes, having a great credit score does reflect your credit profile, but the credit profile is the details. This is similar to what a Carfax is to a car. So if a lender looks at your records and they saw you've had large loans that are paid back on time, lender is gonna be like, damn, this person is legit. They are trustworthy and they will pay me back. Because the key here is to really fan your credit profile. The trouble with most people when they're trying to seek lending is not that the credit score is not high enough, it's just that they haven't really built a solid profile. Yes, they probably have credit builder loans, consumer finance loans, auto loans, or even a couple credit cards. This will add diversity to your account, but if you're trying to get much bigger amounts than you're used to, then a large pledge loan will help you do that. Because if you were to think about it, credit builder loans generally do not have that high of amounts. Usually it's anywhere between $500 to $1,000, and even most of the time people have large loans such as student loans, they're in deferment or the balance is still too high. This just shows that you have a large amount of debt, which ruins your debt to income ratio when lenders are underwriting. Now in this video, I'll discuss in detail about the Navy Federal program, but there are plenty of other financial institutions and credit unions that offer similar products to Navy Federal. So if you are not in with Navy Federal yet, I do have a playlist right here, which will teach you all the steps. So if you still don't qualify, check out your local credit unions because most likely they're gonna have something similar. So in a nutshell, this is how a pledge loan would work. Let's just say that you wanna get a $50,000 loan. You would have to deposit $50,000 into your Navy Federal account, and then you would have to call them up and be like, hey, I want to get a pledge loan with this 50K that I have sitting in my bank account. They will set you up with a loan using your own money, then they will charge you just a little bit of interest so they can make some money on this trade line. This is just the cost of business, and you gotta put some skin in the game if you want to play this credit game. Once they take that money from your account, that loan amount will go right back into your bank account. Now let's take a look at this document that's directly from Navy Federal that discusses certificate pledge loans. There are variations to this, like a share secure loan, which can be for small amounts with varying lengths, but for this video, I'll just go over pledge loans. So based on this one pager, it says that this program allows you to borrow your own money. Use the principal in your Navy Federal certificates as collateral on a low interest rate loan. The loan's APR is just 2% points higher than their certificate rate, and the certificate continues to earn dividends at the rate at which it was purchased. So if you guys are not familiar with what certificates are, imagine a savings that is locked. So you would have your money locked away, which you can earn interest on, typically at a very small percentage rate, but it's better than nothing nonetheless. So for the eligibility for this program, you gotta be at least 18 years or older, and you can also be the sole owner or a joint owner of the certificate. This is very powerful in the case that you wanna build your spouse's or family member's credit as well. They have short-term certificates, which can range anywhere between 3 to 12 months, and long-term certificates, which can range anywhere between 3 to 7 years. You can also take out a loan ranging from $1,000 all the way up to $100,000. This is the essential key when it comes to building your credit. The larger amount with the longest terms will benefit the most. I'll go over what you need to know to make this as low cost as possible with the best outcome a little bit later. One thing that they did not go over in this handout is that you will not incur a hard inquiry whatsoever. You will most likely get a soft pull just for identification purposes, but these are harmless. So that's the meat of this one pager. So before moving on to the strategy and the hack which makes the pledge loan so powerful, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Bankrate. If you are in the market for actual loans and not borrowing your own money, you can get pre-qualified for a loan offer up to $100,000 in 2 minutes or less. All you gotta do is answer a few questions, compare your offers, and then lock in your rate. Whenever you pre-qualify, this will not affect your credit score. So if you want to know how much you can pre-qualify for, there's an affiliate link down in the description. So here's the strategy. Ideally, you want to put in as much money as you possibly can aside for this pledge loan. Because the goal with the pledge loan is that the larger loan that you can take out or cash that you have available, this will be the amount that will be reported to the credit bureaus. So if you ever wanted to seek higher levels of funding, the amount that you take out as a loan is really going to play a factor. For instance, let's just say that you wanted a $50,000 car loan. If you only ever had $1,000 or even $5,000 loan, this will make it seem like this was the most that you're able to handle, or you just have a thin credit profile. In this instance, you may not get the most favorable terms, or you would have to put down more money for a smaller loan. But on the other hand, if you have a $50,000 loan with perfect payment history on your credit report, lenders will know that you're able to handle large amounts. So for instance, I was actually thinking about getting a 50 or even a 100K Navy Federal pledge loan just so I can build a thicker credit profile. I understand that everybody's financial position is a little bit different, so if you only have $1,000, then go ahead and just do that. But the key with this pledge loan is that you want to have a large enough balance with a long enough payment history. Alright, so once you decide how large of a pledge loan that you want, you would then want to place this money into your Navy Federal account. Then you would have to call Navy Federal and tell them like, hey, I have this money here and I want to have a pledge loan with the amount that's in my account. Once you start this process, they will put that amount on hold and create an installment line of credit using the amount that you set aside. Then within a few business days, they would then give you back that amount into one of your Navy Federal accounts. This either can be a checking or a savings account. So for instance, let's just say that you're a baller and you want to have a pledge loan of $100,000 for 7 years. Once this process gets approved, this information will get reported to the credit bureaus in the next 30 to 45 days, showing that you got a loan for $100,000 with the ending date in 7 years. Now, here's the actual trick to build your credit the way that you want it. There are varying numbers on the internet to tell you how much you want to pay off, but the general consensus is that you want to pay about 90% of this loan off right away. So when I say pay this off right away, I would wait until this trade line actually reports to the credit bureaus. So this can take anywhere between 30 to 45 days. So once you've seen this reported to the credit bureaus, this is when you would pay off that 90%. So this may drop your credit score for the short term, but you want to make sure that this trade line actually reports before you pay 90% of it off. So in this example, the $100,000 that you have, this will mean that you would have to pay off $90,000 of the loan that you took from Navy Federal. Then you will leave that $10,000 balance across 7 years. So if you are thinking that you're actually spending $90,000, you are actually not, because this is your money to start with. The $90K will be going to Navy Federal, then right back into your account. You're essentially just moving money from one pocket to another between you and Navy Federal. So across 7 years, you would have to pay back $10,000. Again, every payment that you pay back minus the interest gets released back to you. So that $10,000 is still yours, minus whatever interest fees that you would have to pay. Now you may be thinking, okay, if I took out a loan for $100K, why not just pay off the $100K right away? This way I would have a $100,000 loan on my credit report. While you're not wrong, but the largest factor in your credit report is your payment history. This accounts for 35%. So you may be eager to pay this loan off right away so you can just show that you had a $100,000 loan reporting, but you want to make sure that you've had this loan open long enough for it to actually affect. Ideally, you would want to have this loan open for at least 13 to 18 months just so you can show that you have a long enough payment history. Now, if you were to pay off 90% of this loan, your monthly payments should be very small for the next 7 years. So let's run some numbers here. This is going to be very general numbers. I'm not going to include the interest just for simplicity, but if you were to take out $100,000 for 7 years, your payment would be roughly around $1,200 a month. Now, if you were to pay off 90% of this loan, a $10,000 loan across 7 years will cost roughly around $120 a month. So once you paid off 90% of this loan, depending on how your payment will be calculated, it is possible that your next payment that is due will not be until years in the future, or it can just be adjusted to a new amount. The idea is not to pay off the loan early so you have a long enough payment history. So the reason on why this works is to first understand how the loans affect your credit. The two biggest factors when it comes to loans affecting your credit will be your payment history and the amounts owed. The mix of credit is also a factor, but the biggest factors will be payment history and the amounts owed. Believe it or not, loans have their own utilization. We all know that credit utilization is important and you want to keep this low, but this also applies to loans as well. Normally, whenever you get a new loan reported to your credit report, you generally see a dip to your credit score. The reason this happens is that 1, usually a hard inquiry occurs, and 2nd, you have a large amount of debt added to your credit report. You tend to see your credit score the highest when the loan is almost paid off. So if you were to take out a $100K pledge loan, and if you were to pay 90% of it, this will show that you have a 10% utilization from the original loan balance. You also need to know that loans affect your credit score much more when they are open. I'm not sure if you experienced this before, but you tend to see your credit score drop once you paid off a loan. It should be recovered in the next couple of months or so, but it may not be as high as it once was when the loan was almost paid off. So far, I told you what a pledge loan is all about, how to implement it, and why it works. The last thing I gotta cover is that why in the world would you ever want to do this? Don't you think it'll be much easier for you to get larger lines of credit, loans, credit cards once you've built up a thick credit profile? Yes, it does. I've seen many people who have multiple loans with Navy Federal, and this will only further their relationship with them. This is exactly the type of trade line that you need to have on your credit report. Since it is a primary loan under your name, this will have much more benefits compared to an authorized user or a credit bureau loan with some other fintechs. So for those who don't currently have a loan or ever had a large loan reported on their credit report, this is the product to get. Even if you have bad to excellent credit, I still advise most people getting a loan like this reported. This will make it so much easier for you to get higher limits on credit cards, larger amounts when you're seeking lending. This is a huge game changer when it comes to building your credit. Now let me know in the comments if you guys have ever done a pledge loan before or something on the lines of this. If you guys want to hang out with me some more and learn more about Navy Federal, come check out these videos over here.